Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ocean State Aquatics TV. Today I am in the coral room at our Coventry location where I have some of our smaller tanks with me today. So some of these smaller column tanks are really unique because they have a very small footprint with a lot of vertical height. So you can fit a lot more gallons in an area if you have just a really tiny footprint to work with. So these tanks are really cool for that reason. If you just have a really tiny space, but you kind of want a little bit of a bigger tank, expanding up and out is always another way that you can fit more gallons in your space. Now, the only downside to these tanks is that since they are so small and narrow, they actually can be incredibly difficult to aquascape. So today I'm going to be bringing you guys along and I'm going to be aquascaping both our 2.5 smallest column tank and our 11.5 column tank as well. Starting off first, I had already gone ahead and put sand in the bottom of both tanks, so that is already taken care of. And I'm going to start with aquascaping our 2.5 gallon. So if you guys have ever been to our Coventry store or really to any of our stores, you know that we love to take freshwater tanks above the rim, and that is a really good concept to use with these column tanks because you really want to take advantage of that vertical height. So I already went shopping in our wood room and I found this tall and slender, beautiful piece of driftwood that I want to try to incorporate. So after flipping upside down, right side up, forwards, backwards, and every which way, I finally decided that this way looks pretty much about the best. I like how it comes up, how it's got a little bit of an arch to it. It's got a little bit of swim through room at the bottom. I like how it kind of has these roots that come down, the fish can swim through. Now, as you guys all know, driftwood does float. If you do not boil this piece at home, when you bring it home, it is gonna float. So we wanna make sure we have some rocks that we are able to put in the bottom of the tank just so it holds the wood and keeps it in place. So let's go rock shopping and see what we can find. All right, so I just got back from our decoration room at our Coventry store and I picked out some really tiny rocks that will work really well for holding this piece of wood in place. As you can tell, I already went through and put 2 of them in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the 3rd one in, but I wanted to touch on being very careful when adding rocks into tanks because the glass is very fragile and rocks can break glass very easily. All right, so that holds the wood pretty secure in place there. So after that, I have some flowers that I want to put in. So these are just discarded bits of flowers that came off of one of the plastic plants that we had here. Now I think these are really perfect because we don't really have much other room in the tank to be taken up by a full plant. So I kind of disassembled one of the plants that we had here in the store. All right, so I think that looks really stinking cute. I really like how the scape is turning out because it still gives a lot of room for the fish to swim around. Now, since this tank is only 2 gallons, you're really only gonna be able to have about 1 or 2 fish in here. It still gives plenty of hiding spaces, plenty of places for them to explore, and it still has a little bit of that pop of color in it. All right, so now that I have finished aquascaping the 2.5 gallon, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the 11.5 gallon. So I have our 11.5 gallon here, primed and prepped and ready for some wood, so let's go wood shopping. So I'm gonna look for something that is going to have nice height to it, have a lot of different dimension, but not something that's gonna be too wide that it's not gonna be able to fit. So I found this piece hiding underneath a bookcase, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if this fits. So I'm really loving how this piece fits in the tank. I'm loving how it kind of has that piece on the bottom that you can kind of hold it down with some rocks, and it has a lot of dimension up at the top. And it even has some bits that come above the rim, which is really good if you wanted to attach any plants to it and have them grow inside of the tank. I also love how it has some fun dimension and curves to it that will really provide unique features in your tank. Now I'm gonna go get some rocks and plants and we will really get to see the scape come together. All right, so I went ahead and I grabbed some dragonstone and I grabbed some fake plants that we have. I really like how the dragonstone partners with the dragon wood. I think kind of having more brown tones with the darker brown wood looks really well together. So I went ahead and I put some fake plants in here. I originally had 3 picked out, but after playing with it for a little while, I realized that 3 would have made the tank way too cluttered. That is another thing that you have to be really conscious about when scaping these tall, skinny tanks. They can look really jam-packed really quickly. But as you can see here, I've got some of our rocks, I got our wood coming up the top, and then I've got the fake plants kind of bringing it all together. I think that provides a lot of really interesting pieces to look at and also provides some great hiding places for fish. And it still provides enough security so the wood will not float up when you fill it with water. Thank you guys so much for watching, and these tanks are in stock at our Coventry location. If you guys are interested, you should come on down and take a look. And like always, keep it fishy.